Hey guys, welcome back. This is me playing Pokemon X with Trey, and Trey made some really good moves on here, and so did I. He about beat me for the first time, and me and Roland were really surprised when we saw this, so.
Cause Abraham just had.
I had 3 left, and they were really low health, but at the end, I played cards right where I beated him. Right, so all of his Pokemon have nothing but attacks, but he learned how to play them right, so here what's happened. I go for the Toxic with my, and he goes, dude, it's already started, it's perfect. And he goes, Retaliate on Carbink, and he will use...
The ending is this.
Alright, it's Rough Root, and I use Reflect because I needed to Reflect, and it definitely helps me in the long run big time because you'll see what I mean. I use a U-turn on his Squidon. No one it wouldn't do much since Squidon has a whole bunch of defense. I switch out for my Frost Root and go to my Curlia. This was kind of a bad move on my part, kind of not. He goes for the Crunch on my Curlia. And he uses Needle Arm or Carbink. I mean, Needle Arm is his strongest grass type move, but it ain't the best. So I go for the stone. Go for the stealth rock because I can't talk today. He goes for the crunch on my Carbink, and I eat it up like crazy because Carbink is freaking cannot be taken down. He goes for the return on my Curlia, and dang, it did way too much. I go for Toxic on Quilladin, and yeah, Carbink uses Calm Mind. I use Calm Mind up on my Carbink to get my special attack and special defense up, making me even bulkier than I am before and giving me better attack. Now, this was a really good move, setting up double Toxic on both of them, because it did really help me in the long run. And I use my Protect, and Little Pup goes for a Crunch on Curlia, and Trey uses Needle on my Carbink again. Since my defense is up even more, it didn't do as much. I use Dazzling Gleam, wrecking both of their lives. I really thought Quilladin was going to get killed by the Toxic, but this is where it caught me off guard. This definitely caught me off guard. Quilladin survived the Toxic with barely anything left. This caught me off guard and it let me lose my game. He goes to Poe. He freaking wipes out a whole bunch of people with that little panda somehow. He uses his Mold Breaker, which means that my Stealthrox didn't do as much damage as I should have. So I go to my Almara, which he freaking wrecks its life, leaving me with 10 health. I go to my Precious Farfaru, which is a really good Pokemon if you know how to use it. He goes to return my Farfaru, I eat it up, but it's a critical hit. He goes for the Karate Chop on Almara, freaking wrecking it to 10 health. And this was a really poorly planned move on my part. I wish I'd never done this. The only reason I had Almara is because it had Paralyze. He sends out his Bunnelby, which is about to evolve, if I'm right. I use a U-turn on Bunnelby.
You're right.
I use a return on Bunnelby, and well, it didn't work. I knew it wouldn't kill it. I knew it would do a decent amount. It did a clean half to his Bunnelby. He goes for the return, taking out my Almara. Which pretty much I just used it as death fodder because I can't lose my Almara slow. He uses Karate Chop, my Orof, freaking taking about nearly 50% of my health. And I go to my Carbink to get my Reflect up. I use Sword Stance to get my attack up even more. And Bunnelby uses Return on my Carbink, but it doesn't do anything. Carbink is a freaking tank that cannot be taken down. It cannot be taken down! Anyway, I set up another Reflect. He uses a Karate Chop on Orof. I thought I was dead, but I survived. I use a Brick Break on his, Poe. But it didn't kill Poe, but... Right. because of my sword stance, and my Aldroth was dead. Well, there wasn't really much more that Aldroth couldn't do. His Bumblebee got hurt by the recoil. I got to use Dazzling Gleam, wrecking both of their lives. As you can see, he needed to take out my Carbink because it was wrecking every single one of his Pokemon. Right here, gosh, I will regret this move for the rest of my life. Anyway, so I summon up my Nikki. Alright, so you're gonna see what happened here. The stones dug into Fletchender and Charmeleon, so I switch back Carbink and go to my Furfrou, which Furfrou is okay if you know how to use him. Like, I know how to use Furfrou. He ain't a bad Pokemon. You know, he's just a normal type. He ain't that bad. He ain't too good if you don't know how to use him. He ain't too good. He ain't too bad. He's about even, pretty much. Because Furfrou is a tank. He's good if you have like Toxic, U-turn, keep on switching out and that, doing little damage. Well, I made some really bad moves right here. He goes for a Dragon Mash Furfrou. I lived somehow, and he got poisoned, and so yeah. I use a U-turn on his Charmeleon. I knew it wouldn't do much, but I really needed to switch out because I still needed my Furfrou after this. So what my plan was, I go to my Kirlia, and I was planning to wreck his life. He uses Peck, barely leave me alive to 1 health. I thought I died. He goes to scratch on my Nikki. I use Workup. I thought I was tanky, but I remembered I saw the Reflect. Once my Reflect was off, Nikki was... He made a really good move on this part. I should have just straight up attacked. I didn't know he would double team him. My Reflect wore off. Fletchender uses Return on Nikki, about killing me. Then he uses Ember on Nikki again, and I'm out. Nikki is dead. Which is my dog. You haven't seen that video yet. I use Side Shot, thinking I can take it out. And boom, it's still alive. I was surprised. So, yeah, I go to my Furfrou. Knowing that my Furfrou was faster than anything he had was pretty much game. Furfrou is extremely fast, so he's pretty fast and pretty decent attack, and his defense is pretty good, but his special defense ain't the best. So he is pretty good, I would say. He ain't too bad, like I said. So I'm going to my Carbink. Bam! This thing cannot be. This thing may not have the best attack, but it's freaking. What I've been using it's been my life savior. If I didn't have Carbink, I would have lost this match and it would have been game. So Trey made some really good predictions. He's finally learning how to predict. And now he's gonna go for Ember or Carbink, but I'm gonna eat it up. But there's nothing else Trey can do. This was game match. If he would have burned my Carbink, I would have lost this. If he burned Carbink, I would have lost this big time. So, as you can see, that was the end of the video. So Trey made some good predictions. Bye.